Will Shitsville follow in the footsteps of the Eurostanis and ban diesels in our so-called cities? That's next. I'm John Cadogan from autoexpert.com.au, the place where Aussie new car buyers save thousands off their next new cars. Hit me up on the website for that and subscribe now, because I yearn to inflict myself upon you again. Now, I get this question all the time, perversely enough. Latest recurring variation on the theme from this dude. As you are no doubt aware, Europe is going to ban diesel cars. There are already target dates. I have a 2016 Tucson Highlander diesel. Do you think I should trade in shortly so that I will not lose greatly should Australia decide to follow suit? When I bought the Tucson diesel, my understanding was that diesel car engines were no longer significantly more dangerous environmentally than petrol. I think the VW revelations changed things. I also get asked kind of regularly if it's safe to buy a diesel today for pretty much the same reason, especially as many SUVs in particular are packaged today with the diesel powertrain as the premium option, with better performance in the real world and often connected to a superior driveline. So this is a real concern at some level in the market, and I'd suggest that it is a breathtaking non-issue. Banning diesel would be practically impossible here in Straya, politically impossible and logistically very difficult at least. Also, there's no suggestion that this idea is being tabled or even covertly discussed in the corridors of power. In the political domain, Shitsville's revolving door policy on Prime Mincers holds one thing absolutely sacred. To run the country, you need to be a science-denying, happy-clapping, religious muppet, hell-bent on appeasing Dickensian turds, such as the coal industry. You simply cannot have the top job and acknowledge the existence of anthropogenic climate change. Gotta keep making electricity from coal, mate. Gotta keep exporting sufficient coal to double the carbon footprint of the nation effectively. Screw the planet, buddy. We've got the balance of trade to worry about. Got to keep sidestepping the imperative to have air quality standards for our big cities. You just wouldn't understand out there in the electorate. There is therefore zero chance of banning diesel in Australia, especially as the most polluting diesels on our roads are older trucks. And no sane, Jesus-bothering nutbag PM would take on the road transport lobby and hope to survive. The other problem with banning diesels is purely logistic. It would be a procedural nightmare, and of course the car industry would go to war with you instantly if you tabled this as a serious proposal. According to the 2018 Shitsville Motor Vehicle Census, the number of diesel passenger vehicles on our roads has grown by 70% since 2013. It's a pretty serious bump. There are almost 1.8 million diesel passenger vehicles and 2 million more diesel light commercial vehicles on the roads today. That's almost 30% of the total number of vehicles registered. Where would they go suddenly? Who would compensate the owners if they were banned? The environmental impact alone of sidelining those vehicles and replacing them would be immensely negative. I think you'd agree. More importantly, in the political dimension, those 4 million-ish owners of the light vehicles, they're probably going to be monumentally pissed off with you if you ban them, which is a cardinal sin for a politician, obsessed as most ugly people are with their popularity. Geography's a factor too, right? See, in Europe, they just drive the outlawed diesels east and sell them in some discount car emporium in Dogshitistan. Can't really do that here. Girt by sea, problematically. We could dump them all in the Franklin River, I suppose, or build a bridge to the sheep shaggers. Sorry, that's probably insensitive. The merino molesters. That could work. Then there's the issue of dirty diesel itself. Putting Volkswagen arseholes just to one side, diesel's not actually dirty. In a modern Euro 5 or Euro 6 compliant diesel engine, pollution is controlled. NOx is mitigated, particles are mitigated, and yeah, that's a complex thing, but certainly it's doable. DPFs beat lung cancer any day of the week if you ask me, so the complexity is worthwhile. So let's just be clear on this. Pollution is a technical challenge, a combustion management and exhaust treatment challenge. And engineers can do this, yes! Because hey, engineers use applied science to solve problems and change the world. But greenhouse, right, CO2, this is intrinsic to combustion. It's one of the two key combustion byproducts of burning hydrocarbons. And this is as true of coal-fired electricity as it is of the liquid fuels. And it's why EVs are, of course, a fraud if you burn coal to power them up. You cannot subvert CO2 production using clever engineering in the way you can mitigate pollution. CO2 is part of the deal at a deep level of hydrocarbon energy exploitation. The only way to minimise CO2 is by minimising the amount of fuel you burn by making the combustion process more efficient. And diesels are more efficient than petrol by a long shot. The compression ratio is higher, which allows the fuel to expand over a greater range when it burns, and this delivers a huge boost in thermal efficiency, meaning less CO2 for any given amount of driving. And here's an example of that. The Kia Sorento V6 petrol, 235 grams per kilometre of CO2 on the combined cycle. This is a laboratory standardised test. The 2.2 diesel in the same car, 190 grams per kilometre. That is a 25% reduction in greenhouse gas thanks to burning diesel instead of petrol. You cannot argue with this. It's thermodynamics. We are not going to ban diesel in Australia for a variety of reasons. It will not happen. You know, there are still 221,583 cars in Australia today that require leaded petrol. That is according to the Shitsville Bureau of Statistics for 2017. We banned tetraethyl lead from petrol nationally by January the 1st, 2002. Then Federal Minister for the Environment, Robert Hill, announced that on the 15th of March, 2000. That is more than 18 years ago. And still today, you can drive a leaded petrol-powered HQ Holden over the Shitsville Harbour Bridge. Yes! Just you and your 4 closest mates wearing village people costumes on the way to the Mardi Gras with complete impunity. Yes. I'm John Cadogan. Given the staggering pace with which Straya tightens up its act environmentally, if you buy a diesel conveyance today, it will be dead and buried, pushing up daisies, demised, passed on, requiescat in pace, kick the bucket, a stiff, pining for the friggin' fjords, and we will still be buying diesel in the hearts of our fine cities. Thanks for watching.